Hello, I am Judy and you are visiting Vintage to Chic. Today I'm working on a large tray, very large. And a lot of times large trays are very intimidating. You have to just kind of decide on a design and kind of go with it. And it doesn't always work out that you can cover the whole tray, so you got to kind of piece it in. So what I'm doing today, I've already started on it just due to, save some time. I've started painting on the outside edge, which I'm going to explain to you everything that I've done. I spray painted my tray first. This is a silver plate tray. I spray painted it first with Rust-Oleum's 2-in-1 matte finish, and I took it outside and sprayed it till I got a good coat on it, misting it a little bit at a time. Then you're going to need to let that dry about 24 hours before you go in to work on it. Now, when I'm working on pieces that I want to put designs on, I have templates. I've made templates for all different kinds of things that I like to do. And the best thing, this is a cardboard template made out of cardstock, out of a poster board. And the best thing to do to make them is to go in your kitchen, take out your platters, your bowls, anything that's got a real pretty design to it, take it out, lay it on a piece of paper, on a piece of poster paper, draw you a design around it, and then cut it out. This one is scalloped. See, it's scalloped all the way around the edges. And this is what I've chose to work on today. So after started my tray, I went in and laid that in the middle. I've got this down in the middle. And I took a pencil and I just traced around where I'm going to paint my design, where I'm going to put my design in there. Then I made me a design, and this one I printed on a large format printer, which come out to, I think they're like 14 by 17 or something like that, right off, I don't know. And I printed it on mulberry paper, on the large sheets of mulberry paper. So I've got it ready to go. There's a little bit of paint on the back of it there. See if I can get that off without ripping my paper. Okay, now I took my template and I laid it on the back of my paper like so, and I traced around it with my pencil and I cut it out. So now I'm ready to go. Now I want this one to be in the pink. I won't be using the template anymore, so I put it over out of my way. I wanted this to be in the shabby colors in the pink, and I wanted to use metallic. Now, anytime I use metallics, if I'm going to want it to be the same color that it is, if I want pink to be pink, metallics don't cover good. You have to put 10 coats on there, and you're still not going to get a good coverage. So what you need to do is choose a base color of paint that matches your metallic color. This metallic color happens to be Folk Arts Rose Shimmer, and this one also happens to be Folk Arts Plantation Rose. When I go to the Hobby Lobby or wherever I'm buying paint, I go to the paint section. I never look at names on paints. I choose them by colors. If I pick up a bottle of pink in the metallics, I go to the regular paints and I choose me a color in that metallic color that will match the pink as close as I can get it. I want to match those two pinks to make sure that they're both in the same family. Okay, now what I done first is I put out my pink. This is the regular pink, Plantation Rose, and I painted all the way around that tray. This is the pink up here. I painted all the way around the tray, going around my design there. See, I took it around. Let me lay this over here out of the way. I took it around exactly the way my pattern is on there. Took it around my tray. And I put 2 coats of that. Put 1 coat, let it dry, and then I put another coat. Okay, now I'm going back in with my metallic color, which is this Rose Shimmer. And I'm going to go around my tray. I went around it most of the way one time. So, like I said, just to save time and you sitting here watching me paint, just like color book painting, I've left just one little spot here that I'm going to paint. When you're painting like this, you want a brush with a good edge on it. And if you're careful, you can let that edge of that brush will come right around the edge of what you're painting. And you can keep your lines very, very straight. Okay, so I'm going to finish my way right on around this tray, staying with my design. Okay. My business name is Vintage to Chic. I think I told you that. I have a Facebook page and I have an Etsy shop, all in the same name. Happy to have you join us. I teach on Facebook. If you're not a subscriber here, I hope you will join me. Hit the subscription button and stay with me. I'm getting this pink on here. This will also probably take 2 coats of the pink. So we'll get one on and then we'll put our paper on while that's drying, and then we'll go back in and put another one on. If you have a good flat brush, you can take that edge. Never go in that edge this way. Always go with the way your edge runs. Take your brush, good flat brush, right around that edge. When you load it flat, and you paint with it flat. You take it right around that edge, and you'll have a good straight edge in there. That's my phone a-buzzing. I love working on trays. One of my favorite things to work on. And I don't usually, if the tray's in very good shape, I don't do nothing to the back. I leave them. I just make sure they're clean. But if it has rust on it or, needs to be painted, then I would paint it. It's just according to how it looks on the back. This one was in good shape on the back, so I'm just going to leave it the way it is. And it has wood handles on the end, so I probably won't do anything with these handles. I'm going to leave them. Okay, now I've got that. I'm going to go ahead and dry that real quick and put my second color on before I put my pattern on there. Especially my inside edge, so that I won't get any of that on my paper. I'm going to go right back in here, especially where it's close to my pattern, where my pattern's going to be. I'm going to go ahead and put a second coat in there. Then we can put the top one in after we get the picture on. If you've watched me before, girls or ladies or whoever's, visiting me today, you will see that most of the time I'm teaching just as if everybody is a beginner. I've been in this business for well over 45 years, and I taught for about 30 years, and that's just what I'm used to. I'm used to explaining things, so I hope that's okay with you. And then when you're teaching on Facebook or something like this, you always get new people all the time. So you have to teach every class just like it's, you're working with beginners, which most of the time you are with a lot of time. Okay. I'm just going right around this inside section again and get it in so we can go ahead and get the paper in. This will make a gorgeous display piece in your kitchen, or a bed tray, or a coffee table tray, with decorations in it. Be beautiful to have a big one like this. I sell my finished products on Vintage to Chic on Etsy, or I have auctions on my page, on my Facebook page, which is also Vintage to Chic. If you ever have any questions, just, contact me. I'll be happy to help you, answer any questions for you. I'm about 2/3 of the way around that. I love this pink. It is bright and striking. Stands out really pretty. Now you could change this whole color of pink by putting a different color underneath it. Or you could mix it with black and make you a beautiful shade. A lot of times I like my metallics. I'm partial to dark colors. So a lot of times my metallics are mixed with black. And I don't usually paint the black on and then put the metallic over it. I just take some of the metallic that I'm using and add the black to it a little bit at a time until I get a color that I like. And then that's what I paint my project with. The metallic finishes and the pearl finishes just about all came out in the last year, and they are great to work with. And I use all different brands, whatever hits me at the time or whatever color I like. Most of my designs I create my own. I have a Facebook page where I share my designs. It's a subscription group. Okay, now I've got that extra coat of pink all around that inside edge. Little spot right there it needs to be. So we're going to go ahead and put our paper in, and then while that paper's drying, we'll come back in and paint the top part of it. Yeah, maybe I didn't go all the way around. There's some spots it's not covered good. Thought I did. Okay, now I'm going to lay my pattern, lay my picture on there, and get it in position as to where it goes. And then I'm going to use my Mod Podge to put it down with. Okay, I'm going to position it right in there. You'll see the scalloped edges around it. And I'm going to lay it down there. I'm going to get my brush and my glue, which I use Mod Podge with a little bit of water in it. It's too thick right out of the bottle, so I just put it in a small cup and I put a little bit of water in it. Now, I'm not going to try to do this thing in a big part, so I'm going to do it a little section at a time. And the first part I'm going to glue down is this end down here on the right. I work to the right because I am right-handed. Okay, so I'm going to raise this up, starting about the middle, close to the middle of my paper. And I'm going to start my glue, a light coat of glue right on that, right around, coming around my paper there. This being mulberry paper, it will glue down really, really easy, so you do not need a lot of glue under there. Use whatever you prefer. We all use different kinds, and one's no better than the other. It's just, when you get used to something, it's just something you stay with. If it works for you, there's no point in changing it. So I'm coming over a little bit and putting a little bit all the way out to my end. And I don't want to get it out on my pink if I can help it. It won't hurt it, but I just try not to do that. Sometimes I use that Mod Podge as a sealer on the whole thing. If I'm going to add shading to it, or sometimes waxes, then I would put the Mod Podge, just let it be my sealer. Okay, now I'm going to pick this up, and right in the middle here, I'm going to hold it, get it started here. Then I'm going to take I've got some saran wrap here, just wadded up cheap saran wrap, and I'm going to start my paper across through there and lay it down slowly, working it to the outside, so that whatever wrinkles is in there works right out of the paper. Plus, that helps you get your pattern. See, I got my paper in exactly where I had my pattern there. Okay. And I've got this end up, so I can push it in either direction. I can push it this way, push it the other way, just to get all my wrinkles out. That is pretty. Now, I'm right-handed, so I'm going to turn this around, and again, I'm going to work to the right. So I'm going to pick my paper up again, and I'm going to go right here and me another coat of Mod Podge on this end. Very light coat. I don't know if I'll just varnish this one or I will resin it. Sometimes I put resin on them and sometimes I just varnish them. So decide that after I'm finished. I usually decide which way I'm going to go. If somebody really wanted to use it for a serving tray, it would need to be varnished. It need to be resin. But if you're going to use it for a display tray, if you're going to use it for a one on your coffee table or a bed tray or something, then you don't need that to be resined. You can just put your multiple coats of varnish on it, and that's sufficient because that allows you to be able to clean it. The varnish, I will put, probably 5 or 6 coats of varnish on it before I get to the end of it, just for protection. Then you can wash it with a damp cloth. You don't want to submerge it in water, but you can wash it with a damp, wet cloth. Wipe it off, and you can keep it clean that way. Okay, now I'm ready to start down here again in the middle and working to the other end. All the way across. Got a big, beautiful butterfly on there. Take that all the way out to the end. And I want to be sure all my little edges are glued down, so I'm going to go back around and make sure I have glue under all my edges. If I see any place that looks like it's coming up, then I'm going to slide some glue right under there. Just go back and slide it right around your edges. Make sure you got every piece, every bit of it glued down. See, right there's a little bit. Take you a little bit of glue and put it in there and pull that down. Here's a little spot. I'm going to put some beading, probably some pearls, around the edge, but I still need it to be glued down good. So just go around and check all your edges. It's a large one. You got to turn it and turn it to get it where you need it to be. Okay, I believe I got it. Now I'm going to put a coat of glue on the outside. Just go back in and coat it with a coat of the glue to seal in my print. This one I print on an inkjet. My large format printer is an inkjet printer. And I buy the paper on Amazon, both the rice paper and the mulberry paper. I'll leave you links in the comments where you can see which printer I use, and you can see the mulberry paper or the rice paper that you want to print on for the large printer. But usually when I print on these, I try not to use them the same day that I print on them. If they're on my inkjet printer, I let them set till the next day before I use them. And sometimes I will spray it with a little bit of cheap hairspray if I'm in a hurry. And so far I've never had any problems with them. Some people do, some of us don't. So really it's just according, you just have to kind of play with it. Start with something small and learn what your printer does before you mess up something that you don't want to mess up. There's some. I hope you'll hit the subscribe button and come visit us again. We've got lots of videos on there you can watch. Lots of good things we've been working on. Like I said, I've been at this 40 years. For years I just done decorative painting. Then about 3 or 4 years ago I added the decoupage to it. And it just makes you be able to do so much more just like printing your own designs. If you learn to print, if you learn to print your designs on a printer, then it opens up a whole new world for you. And you can do lots of things that you wouldn't be able to do if you had to order, because then somebody's got to make you that design and print it for you, and you've got to purchase it. So it's a lot cheaper in the long run to do your own. I buy a lot of things to print, and I buy a lot of clip art, but I also design about 95% of what I use I design myself. Almost got it. Okay, now I'm going to give that a little drying time, and I'm going to go back in here and put another coat, put that pink, extend it right on out to my edges out here where it belongs. Pick up my brush again. I keep a towel, an old dish towel or a piece of cloth from t-shirts or whatever in my lap so that I can work with that to dry my brushes, keep my brushes dry. Now I'm using my metallic straight from the bottle. So I've got some out. I'm going to put me a little bit more out over here on my palette. And I don't want to come out of the thing naturally. Sometimes they drive you nuts trying to get them out of the bottle. That one's just plumb full of strings. And it's not going to come out. Okay, there we go. Maybe I got enough out to do. Okay, back up here on my top part now. I'm just going to go all the way around the top again. That's it. This is a beautiful shade of pink. For years I did Shabby Chic, just Shabby Chic products. I've done a little of all of it in the past. When we started, it was all country. When I started painting in the mid-70s. And I opened a craft shop. When I was 26 years old. And I had it for 12 years. Then I've worked shows all up and down the East Coast. Traveled and worked shows, my husband and I. So it's been my only job all my life, all my adult life. Got a hair. Hard to not get hairs in that. Okay, now we'll turn it around and work back on this end. When you get up close to the handles, just use the flat of your brush and you'll be able to go right around there straight without messing up anything. I don't like to have a lot of paint on my brush. I'd rather load my brush real often as to have a whole lot of paint and then lose control of it. Got some spots of glue there. This one would be too pretty if you wanted to crackle the inside section of it. You could use Pin Art's two-step crackle and crackle your picture, and it would give you another effect, which would be beautiful. Okay, I've got it on there. See how pretty that is? Now, let's see what I'm going to do next. I want to take my toothbrush and I want to put a little bit of color in there. I'm just going to kind of, I call it spackle on there a little bit. And I usually use a darker shade. This one's called Cranberry Wine. And I'm going to put a little bit of color in here. Not so much on my flowers as I am in the other spots of there. So I'm going to put a little bit of this on my palette. And then I'm going to take my palette knife and I'm going to put just a few drops of water in that till it's just about like ink in that paint. I'm over here on my palette. Put a little bit in there. Then with the very tip of my brush, very tip of my toothbrush right down there on the end, I'm going to put a little bit of that paint on there. Don't want it very thick. I'm going to tilt it down toward my paper because I don't want to get it up in my pink. And I'm going to do close and go right in there and put a little bit on there. I always say this hides a multitude of sins. This just, you know, gives you another dimension there, setting that in there. These flowers have good strong colors in them, so I'm not going to do much to them. That maroon and reds on that flower is really pretty. The pinks and the dark shades. I'll turn it a little bit so I can get right over here on this side. You'll notice I'm turning that brush down and toward me, because if I turn it up this way and do it, it would hit my pink up there, and I don't want it on my pink. I can do all the work on this one, this particular one, and then varnish it at the end. So I'm going to put some pearls and things on it, and then I will go back and varnish it when it's all said and done. I don't have to worry about varnishing it before, because I can varnish right over top of the pearls that I'm going to use. Okay, so I'm done with the toothbrush now, and I'm going to go ahead and put my pearls on. And I'm going to use these. These come from Hobby Lobby, and they're in Paper Studio. And I love these things. They are made, they're self-sticking, and they work great to put around your project or wherever, and they stay on good. And like I said, after I get them on there, I'll varnish right over top of them. This one I may even use a spray varnish on. And then I will put some glitter in my final coat of varnish, which you can do that with a brush on even after you have sprayed it. So I'm going to take this largest pearl here, and since I'm going to be going around like this, I'm not going to try to put them on too big a strip at a time. These are on a plastic thing, which you just peel them off, makes them self-sticking. So I'm going to go right down here and clip them in some spots, so I'm putting them on in short pieces. Okay, so I'm going to take this first little section here, peel it off my paper, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to take it right around the way my design goes. See, if you try to go all the way around with one piece, you couldn't get it around the design, because my design is scalloped and I wouldn't be able to get it all the way around there. So I'm doing it in a little section at a time. See, when you press them down on there, they stay. You can catch these at Hobby Lobby when they're on sale. They're only $2.98, I think, when they're full price, but then they're half price when the Paper Studio stuff is on sale, so you're getting them for about $1.50 a package. I've used them on lots of projects and I really like them. Just lay them down a little bit at a time, press them down, and they've got really good glue on them. See how pretty that is? Gosh, that's pretty. See that? Just make sure, I made sure I measured because made sure I had enough of these to go around before I start working on them. So you want to always make sure of that. See how many packages you've got and measure your strips for inches. So you don't end up with, you know, not enough beads once you've started around, because you can't peel them off without destroying them. You can take them back off, but it destroys your beads. Okay. Now I've got to go over in here where I can get this same size bead out of section. So it doesn't matter if I cut across the other beads because they'll be used in pieces also. So I'm not worried about that. So I'm in here to peel off my next little section. This also shows your design real well. When you take these beads around here, then you can see how you've got your scalloped, your paper is scalloped then. See, it goes in and out around the tray. These come in all different colors. You can get them in looks like rhinestones. You can get them when you go to the paper section. You'll see there's so many different ones to choose from. I've got them in all different colors and shapes. I've put these on Christmas ornaments. I've put them on all kinds of things. Okay. I'm over halfway. Well, I had one pop off there. Not too much more. Okay, I need one more little section, and that's all I'm going to get out of that package, so I got to get over here to another one. Got one here that I've been using on. Just leave the ones you're not using on the plastic, and don't take them off your plastic, because once you take them off, you have to use them. One more little piece there, and I just need a few beads. Just about 6 is what I need there. Okay, now I've got them all the way around. See how pretty they are? Got them all the way around my butterflies and my flowers. Now I think I'm going to go back in with some shimmer glaze. This pin art shimmer glaze, and I'm going to put a little bit on my pink. I don't know if I got a scratch there or just a piece of fuzz there. Okay, I'm going to get me some white shimmer glaze over here. Let me get it out. I like this stuff really well. This is just going to put a little bit of highlight on my pink here. And I'm going to, this is Pin Art shimmer glaze. I've got it in white and I've got it in gold. You can find it on Etsy. Lots of the, anybody that sells pin art stuff, you can get it from. And I'm going to use kind of a stipple brush, I don't want it to be too harsh. Let's see what I've got here, if I've got one a little bit softer than this one. This one might be too small here. Let's try this one. Or this one. Okay, I'm going to try this one. I'm going to put it in there. See, I'm going to use my lid. Tap it a little bit and then tap it in my lid before I go on my board here. And I'm just going to go in and tap a little bit of that on my board there. And if I don't like it, I'm going to go right over it. Let's see what I've got there now if I spread that a little bit. No, I don't like that. That's how you learn. So I don't like that. I'll let that sit a minute, and then I'll go right back in with some pink and cover that right back up, because I'm not too fond of that. What I may have to do is varnish that and then go back in with some of the glaze. Let me get me a brush up here. I've got a mess all over the place. I'll go right back in with my pink and cover that up. And it'll probably take a couple of coats. You make a mistake, you just correct it and turn it into something else. Or something you don't like. It's not really a mistake, it's just something I'm not too fond of putting on there. Okay, we'll let that dry a little bit, and then I'll put one more coat on there. Okay. Now I'm going to go along the outside edges with some of my pearls. I'm going to go along this outside edge. And this time I'm going to step down one size. I'm going to step down to the next size down. I'm not sure I have enough of them big ones to go all the way around the same thing again, but I do this next size, so I'm going to step down a size and use them. see what I got on here. And I'm going to come right up here to my top edge and start right around the top. Very lightly, taking it right around that top edge. And that is pretty. Not real noticeable, just gives it a little bit of a zing. You know, you don't have to put a whole lot of it on there. I mean, it don't have to be great big and noticeable. It's just a really pretty little bead. I'm going to try to do this whole row. See if I can do that. Maybe not, but I'm going to try. As soon as I see if I can get them off here. And I can't on that one. I've done cut them. I can't get those off. Okay, there they are. Now, gotta get that first one down in the right place. Can't see from my fingers. I talk to myself, girls, a lot of times, so it's same sitting here doing a video. It's like I'm talking to myself. Okay. Okay, that's all I have. Oh, here's the sheet. I'm trying to find it, and it's right under my nose. Okay, I got this one off in a long one. Let's see if I can get that long one on there without a problem. Since we're on the outside, we don't have so much of a curve as we do on that inside, so we can use the strings a little bit longer. That's good. That took me right up to the edge. I like that. And we'll turn it all the way around and come back in on this side. This is just slow going. And let's see if I can get this whole strand on there. Didn't come off whole. So I guess not. Already had it cut. Painting is hard on your hands, I'm telling you. This tray's large and it's hard. I didn't really hardly leave myself enough room here on the table to work on it. Okay, I got one more little section there. Let's see if I've got some of these over here. Okay, let's go down part of the way. I've got one too many on that one. I have to clip one of them off. Okay. Okay. Get that out of the way. Now I'm going to get me some liquid pearl, and I'm going to use a little bit of that to put a few little pearl drops up here in my picture, in my butterflies and stuff. So right in here, I'm going to go in here, and this is liquid pearl, which you can find on Amazon. I will give you a link to this. I've got some here that's white, some that's ivory. Let's see if the ivory's better. Just going to shake it up good. If you haven't used it, girls, it's really good. It has a tip, a fine tip on the end of it, and you just squeeze it out and drop it on, and it makes you a little pearl that will stand right up there. Whatever how it goes on, that's the way it'll stay on. So I'm just going to go in here, and in a few places in my picture here, I'm going to just drop some pearls. Just put it on and drop it, and then come back up with it. Quit squeezing, bring it up. Quit squeezing, bring it up. See, that just makes, I'm just going to go a few places on my board. Just like making polka dots, except I'm making them in pearls. Some I'm going to put 3 in a spot, some I'm going to put 4, sometimes I'm going to put 1. See, I'm just working my way all the way around, putting them here and there. These will take a few minutes to dry, so you want to be sure that these are put on your last thing, because they do take just a little bit of drying time. And then I will varnish right over top of the whole thing. You know, I've got some little bitty lilacs flowers here, purple flowers, and I feel like I could strengthen them just a little bit and pull them out a little. So I'm going to get me a little bit of purple up here. I'm going to take a little bit of purple and a little bit of white, because that's what they are. And I'm going to get me a little tiny brush, little tiny flat brush here, and I'm going to set me some flowers in there. Little purple, little white. And these are, there's some like right here, there's some here, some here. These look pretty good, but these are kind of weak. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to put purple on one side flat and flip it over and put the white on the other side. Get that brush together. So I'm going to load it flat, but I'm going to use it. I've got a couple stray hairs there. I'm going to just snip them off. Hope this brush works right. If it don't, we'll get another one. One side of the flat is purple, the other side is blue. So when I set it down on my paper, I've got two colors there, and I will do what I call touch, press, pull. I'll just touch it, pull it up, touch it, pull it up, and it will make me a little flower petal. Touch, pull, and that's not a very good brush because it's splitting on me. Okay, so let's go back in for a different brush. I need a small flat one. Okay, let's try this one right here. You need a decent brush, but it needs to be a flat brush. Okay, purple on one side, flip it over, white on the other side. I've got white on this side, purple on this side. So I'm going to come in here and I'm just going to touch it down, press it, and strengthen those little purple flowers. And each time I'll pick up a different color of paint. Sometimes I'll pick up just the purple. Sometimes I'll pick up the purple and the white. And I'm just going right up that little stem that's already there. There's a little stem already there, and I'm just going to put a few little purple flowers in there because I want that to stand out a little bit more. That's just a little bit of an accent. The more you work on it, the more dimension you give it. I didn't even notice those before because they were so weak. You see how much difference that made in that right here where I put those up there? I'll put a few right here where these pearls is at so you can see how that goes up there. I just come right up through here and put a few right here, just leading right up to those pearls. Painting on it a little bit is what makes it, you know, what brings it out a little bit. See, we've got those. Let's go down here and strengthen this one a little. I've just mixed purple and white. You could do them in any colors that you choose, but choose a color that's in your, you know, something that's in your piece. Okay, I can set them anywhere that I want to have a few extra little designs in there. I'm just kind of bringing a little fine line up there of a little flower that just comes right up out of around the picture. Come right here where these little leaves are at and put 2 or 3. Okay, I believe I got them. Now I'm going to go back in with my liner brush and pull me a stem like up to those. Find another brush. I didn't even think I'd be doing this, so I didn't get my brushes and stuff out. Okay, this is a liner brush, and I'm going to use a little bit of a dark shade of green. Let's see what I've got out over here. Okay, this is like a real dark. This is called evergreen. And I'm going to use it to pull a couple of little branches up over in those flowers. Now this time I'm going to put some water on my brush because I want this paint to be real thin, like ink. I want it just to flow right off that brush. So I'm going to load that brush flat. I'm over here on my palette and I'm just tapping it down there in that paint and loading it flat. But after I get it loaded, I'm going to roll it to a tip. Then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to pull a little vein up the middle of those little flowers. just to connect them with something. See, I'll turn it around, pull it up here, pull me some little leaves up through here. And I can make me some curlicues with this same color of green. Come in here and I put a few little curlicues on this. Just anywhere you want another little accent. Pull you up some little bitty curls. See, I'm just taking the tip of my brush, using my little finger as my guide, and just set them down on there. Just wiggle them and pull them up. See? Okay, I think I'm done with it. Now see, you can see all the pattern in there, and I hope you can see these are all the little pearls, the little pearl beads that I put in there with the liquid pearl. And I think I'm just going to leave the handles in the dark brown. I like that. I don't believe I want to paint the handles. Okay, the only thing I have left to do on this one is varnish it, and I will varnish it. I've showed you on some other things how to varnish. After it's good and dry, I'll varnish it with 2 or 3 coats of varnish, and then my last coat of varnish I will put some glitter. I've got other things. I've just got glitter that I put in my varnish, and I'll put the final coat of glitter, the final coat of varnish on there will have glitter in it. Okay, and I think I'm finished. Thank you for coming along, and I hope you'll come back and see me.